the people in prison do not. They don't hide their shit. Everybody know what it is back there. Everybody. It's everybody, including the COs. They all know what it is back there. So we not gonna fake like them people who work for prisons are not like the people that they're servicing in there, which are the prisoners. A lot of them are like them. A lot of them sleep with them. A lot of them use sex as a manipulation tactic or leverage. Just like the prisoners do. The COs are doing the same shit. They do not abide by the book back there. I don't give a fuck what's on paper. They don't do that shit back there. They treat prisoners however they want to. They treat them like animals. They treat them like objects. They treat them like they have no purpose. That's how they treat them. But don't think that these COs, these wardens, these people who work for the prisons are not involved in a lot of the prison politics that go on back there, because they are involved. They are involved. But my message is for the people who have something to say about those of us who choose to support inmates. We're not all the same. We don't all come across our men in the same way. Everybody who's with somebody in prison didn't meet them on an app. Okay? Some of us stayed with our significant others while they were back there. That's just it. That is our choice. It doesn't mean that we are not able to get anything out here. That's not what that means. It is a choice. Just like everything out here is a choice. It was a choice for us to make, where we chose to support our significant other while they were back there, because we know what it's like to be in hell alone. And you don't have to be in prison to experience that. A lot of survivors actually know what this is like, to be in hell and be alone. That's why they became so they're survivors. They had to learn how to survive without support. A lot of people who go to prison have to do the same thing, because they get left or they get ostracized by the people who supported them out here or said they supported them out here. When they go back there, they're forgotten about. Nobody bothers to deal with them. Some people feel like it's better that they free them so that they don't have any attachments out here where they can't be taken advantage of, or they can't, nobody can be used as a tactic against them. So it's a lot that goes into it, but I just feel like the people who have something to say are affected by it for some reason. And the real question is why? Why are they affected by it? Because that's how I feel about you having an opinion about something where you are not involved in the situation. You're affected by it some kind of way, whether that's just purely opposition or not. You're affected by it somewhere. So everybody has an opinion, but you just need to understand that everybody does not support your opinion, and you need to be okay with that. Just like we need to be okay with you having an opinion. But that just comes to show you that there are a lot of people out here that support inmates for the right reasons, and there are a lot of inmates that come out here and then support that person for the right reasons, because they understand what it's like to not have somebody and you really need them. And just like everything else, sometimes you gotta go through the experience and actually have somebody there with you for you to understand this shit really does happen. That you really do have people out here that will support you at your lowest. They will support you at your lowest. You hear it talked about all the time. You hear people saying that, but everybody cannot do this. They cannot. Everybody cannot. You find yourself in situations a lot of times just so you can prove that you are a man of your word. And that means women too. That you are a woman of your word. Don't say you're going to do something and then when it comes time for you to do it, you find a reason to back out or you find an excuse to back out of the situation. Okay, what that does is it forces you to be who you really are, even if you didn't have that intention. You will. Your true colors will show. Some people find that they had the intention of helping, but after a year or two, and sometimes less than that, they realize it's not something that they can do. But all I'm saying is don't bash people because they've been through something else. Some people could have been educated about something and they got it in just by being educated about it. They know not to do it. But some people actually need to experience things in order for them to understand it. You can't just tell it to them. They have to experience it to get the lesson in order to get the understanding. So that's no different for a prisoner that he went to prison 2 years the first time, or 2 or 3 years the first time, and then the next time he got a longer sentence. He didn't learn his lesson the first time. So he came back out, thought shit was a game, and went back. Now you gotta do longer. And it hit different when you gotta do longer. It hit different. And not having that support makes it just as hard. Like, it makes it harder. Not having any support makes it harder. Because then you go into survival mode completely. It's just you. And you gotta figure out how to get out of this. How to make it out of this. And for the people who got something to say about people who choose to be with men who done came out of prison because of the stereotype about them being done up in there, who the fuck cares? The only people who need to care about that situation are the people who are in it. You do not know where your happiness is going to come from all the time. You don't know that. You can want this picket life, this white picket fence life. That don't mean you gonna have it with the person you think you are. Yours may be with somebody in Congress, but somebody else's may be with somebody who comes out of prison. And it's just like that. And then you have the ones in between. It's like that. So they're not supposed to have someone because they committed crimes against society. Society say, okay, now you gotta pay for it. They go back there and pay for it. And now when they come out, they don't get another chance. They can't establish themselves. They done did their time. They're not in prison anymore. They done their time. They paid, they did their dues, and some of them come out and they still have to be under watch by having probation or parole. They still got to be under watch. So they still not entirely free. Get off their fucking nuts. Like, leave them the fuck alone. Let them give them a chance to make something of themselves without the fucking screw people who are like, you spent all this time with a man who can't do anything for you, or you waited for this man all this time, and you don't even know if he gonna come out here and do what he need to do. That's my choice, and I did it for my reasons. You don't have to understand it, and I don't have to help you understand that, because you're not who matters. We are who matters in this situation. And the whole time he's back there going through what he's going through, I'm out here going through what I'm going through, and we're learning from each other. There's a lot of shit he would not have learned if he didn't go back there, to be honest. It's a lot of shit I wouldn't have learned about him and about myself if he was still out here. If he was still out here, me and him would not be together. And I told him this, and he said that too. We wouldn't be together. So we don't all look at the situation in the same way. You don't know what is meant to come out of this for you. Sure, I could have quit on him when he went to prison. I could have. Like so many other people do. But if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And I'm not going to allow any outsiders to make me feel any type of way about that. I don't like outsiders make me feel a type of way about any fucking thing that I choose to do. That's my choice. But what y'all need to understand is it was our choice to remain together while he was back there. It's our choice. And whatever happens because of our choice happens. I'm never going to look at our situation and be like, this was a waste of time, because so much has already happened while he's been back there. So much has changed, so much has come up, just so much. And what's important is that we understand it. Like, we want people around us, or in our space, or in our support affiliations that know and they understand. Like, not here to necessarily point fingers and throw that, because there's nothing that you can do that's gonna fuck our shit up ever. Ain't nothing anybody else out here can try and do will fuck up our shit, because we have an understanding on such a core level that's not going to happen. And that's what happens when you find your partner. A lot of people will look at y'all like, how are y'all together? Why are you still with him? What is it about this person? You never know what they're meant to learn from each other, what the lesson is. It doesn't always come when you think it should come. Sometimes it takes one person longer than the other. And it is what it is. But that's for them. And that is their life. And it is something that they have to go through. If at the end of it, one of the parties is like, I can't believe it turned out this way. I wasted so much time. That's how that person came out of it feeling. Oh well. Because that's not going to be everybody's situation. And the chips are going to fall where they fall. We deal with it as it come about. But the way we choose to handle our relationship is the way we choose to handle it. We don't allow other people to come into our situation and have an effect on it like that. So we are, and I said this before in a different video, that he and I plan to do we're going to have a whole series where we're talking about our situations, the things that we've been through, the time that we were away from each other, the lessons we learned. Like, we're going to talk about that stuff, but it's only going to be for people who really want support, who really understands or who wants to understand because they're in a similar situation, or because they shame for our decision to stick together? Nobody. That's how strong we are. Nobody can make us feel strange for deciding to stick with each other. That's our choice. That was our choice. It is our choice. And he's on his way home. It's gonna be that much more significant to our bond. Because we made a choice for each other. So, you know, it doesn't bother me that people are like, oh, she's dating someone from prison, or she's messing with somebody from prison, and, you know, he could be doing whatever back there. Well, that's for me and him to deal with, and how we deal with it is how we deal with it. We gonna talk about that too, but how we deal with it is how we deal with it. He's in a whole separate place from me where he can't get to me. I'm in a whole separate place from him where he can't get to me. But the whole time, we're still together. And as grown people, we make our decisions about how we want to go about things. You don't have to live your life according to how somebody else tells you to live it. When you become an adult, you live your life how you choose to live it, because everything is about a choice. I don't know. People just, it's funny to me how people like to be like you. He's not right for you. You can have somebody better than him. And why? Because that's how you feel? Or that's what you think? Appearances are everything to you? I mean, for some people who choose to date people or choose to stay with people, let me not say date, because I cannot speak to the people who meet inmates online. I will tell you straight out that it's something I would never do. If I didn't know my significant other before he went in, I was not about to go on no site looking for I never went on a site looking for a prisoner. Ever. I've never done that. That's a whole nother situation you will not hear me talk on, because I don't know anything about it. All I can tell you is I would not be somebody that chose to date from an app and where prisoners are, you can choose a prisoner. I wouldn't do that. Because I know the way that a lot of these people think. They have manipulative mindsets, a lot of them. And they're some of the biggest analyzers, so they're constantly scanning their environment for threats all the time. They know what to say and what not to say. A lot of them are, a career criminal is a real thing. That's a real thing. Where, yeah, people make their careers on that type of shit. But I wouldn't do that. I'm the type of person, I have to have something with you to support you. For real. I gotta have something with you. I gotta feel for you some kind of way. Because if I don't, no, that's not happening. And I'm not just gonna go on a pen pal site. I'm not doing that. Not when there's so much out here that I can get to faster if I wanted to. I'm not just gonna have a relationship with somebody in prison because they're in a controlled environment and you don't really have to worry about the rest of the world. No, that's not for me. My situation is different. So like I said, I made a choice to be with him when he went in, to stay with him rather. When he went in, I made a choice to stay with him. I don't feel a type of way about not choosing otherwise. I don't. To me, I feel like the same shit that could happen between me and him is the same shit that could happen between me and somebody out here. Where back there, they're in an enclosed, controlled environment all the time and whatever. So whatever's going on back there is confined. It's in confinement. larger scale because they have way more access to people. I'm not the type of person who needs to be with somebody. I don't need to be with anybody. I don't need to be with anybody. So I wasn't pressed to start over with somebody new when he was behind, back there, went back there. I didn't want anybody else. I still don't want anybody else. I have many people that want a shot or want access to me, and no, I don't want you. And that's just how strong we are with each other. So, that's all I have to say right now. The series is going to start next year. When I'm going to start talking more about us, and it's gonna be like a countdown to when he gets out. And then once he gets out, we're going to have our time, and then we're going to start our series, because I guess you could say we are affiliated with different groups or different people, where we would be like the black sheep of our communities. Both of us are like black sheep of our communities. So that's one reason why our bond is so strong, because we already have like minds in that area, in those areas, because we are black sheep. Both of us are black sheep in our communities. So we've had to deal with this our entire life, being ostracized for one reason or another, because we're different. But this is the type of stuff that we're going to talk about with you guys, and you guys will get to ask questions and stuff like that. But that series will be on Patreon. It will not be on YouTube. I'm not putting that on YouTube. We may choose to do something for YouTube, but private things like that, where we only care to have people in our private space that are like us, or are going through what we're going, will be going through what we're going through, currently going through what we're going through, or did go through what we went through, whether it turned out well or not. These are people who can relate in a way to our situation because they were in it. So we want people like that, and we want people who are also considered black sheep, and people don't understand them. They don't understand why they make decisions and stuff like that. Those are going to be the type of people who are in on our series, and it's something we take seriously. So that's why you're going to have to pay. So in order for you to be a part of us in our series, you're going to have to pay, because at least we know that you're getting something from us and we're getting something from you. So we're more than likely going to come up with something for YouTube and Instagram, but the nitty-gritty stuff will be on Patreon, where you have to be a member in order for you to have access to that stuff. But that's what I had to say about that. Like, what we both realized is that we're a part of a community that we never would have thought that we would be attaching ourselves to, but now we just don't, it's not a big deal to us anymore, and we're ready to